In Augusta's long history, it has been served by many law enforcement officers. Several have died in that service, but the death of only one has never been solved. That would be Frank Wall Jr. in 1958. It was a week before Thanksgiving, a Tuesday, when Wall, they called him Hank, was riding his motorcycle east along Walton Way. He got a radio call to look out for a stolen black and white Chevrolet, believed to have just been in a holdup at Sheehan's Package Shop on Wrightsboro Road. About 8 p.m., Wall stopped such a vehicle on the 1300 block of Walton Way. He even drew his pistol, but he didn't draw it fast enough. A man emerging from the car shot him repeatedly with a .32 caliber. In October 1963, they charged a 30-year-old Linwood VA patient named Richard B. Hogan in Hank Wall's death. Hogan maintained his innocence, and much of the evidence against him was highly contradictory and very circumstantial. Still, in March 1964, a jury convicted him. He appealed and got a new trial, and his exceptional attorneys, Frank Pierce and Bill Fleming, who both would go on to become Superior Court judges, won his acquittal. They say that Frank Pierce, who I covered back in the 1970s when he was a somewhat straight-laced and grumpy judge, carried the day when he stripped down to his undershirt in front of the jury to show that even he matched the vague description of Wall's killer. The jurors agreed the evidence was just not conclusive. Hogan was released in the summer of 1965, and the police made no more arrests in the Wall case. The murder investigation into Hank Wall's death got about as cold as it could get, but not the police interest in Richard Hogan. In 1967, he and two other men were arrested for possession of burglary tools, but the charges were dropped, according to accounts in the Chronicle, because the police conducted an illegal search of their car, a claim successfully pushed by the suspect's new attorney, William Barton. Barton, by the way, would go on to become district attorney, showing Hogan's incredibly good luck at getting excellent legal representation. Hogan's good fortune, however, did not last. Apparently, they had kept him in jail that summer of 1967 to face another burglary charge. He and a colleague were tried, and a Richmond County jury quickly convicted them. I don't think Hogan stayed in jail for long, because in 1971, the Chronicle reports that a Richard B. Hogan of Augusta was caught up in a 7-state bank robbery conspiracy. But again, this Richard Hogan confounded the justice system. The case was immediately appealed when a federal judge took issue because some jurors had seen the defendants in handcuffs. That, he said, would prejudice a jury into thinking they were less than innocent. And then Richard Hogan vanishes from the news pages of the Augusta Chronicle. So here we are, 50 years later, at the Law Enforcement Memorial on the Riverwalk. Hank Wall is memorialized. The fate of his killer is unknown, just like the fate of Richard Hogan.